In episode 4, Victor is back from his trip to New York City and he realizes he needs to tell somebody else. So he radios Felix and calls him outside. And it gets to the point where he's so nervous he tells Felix to actually turn around. And then he comes out with it. He's gay. He's thought it for a while, but he can't keep denying it anymore. And Felix just turns around, looks at him, and gives him a huge hug. He tells him he really appreciates him telling him and that this changes nothing. The conversation then goes to how he tells Mia, and Felix says she'll understand. It's not like you cheated on her. And that's when Victor reveals, well, I kind of kissed Benji. So that throws a monkey wrench in it. Victor then heads in and sees his mom for the first time since the, quote, basketball trip and tells her that it was great. He sees his dad, but then he goes to his bedroom. And his mom is getting ready for her first day of piano lessons. And his dad starts fishing as to who she's teaching. What are their names? What are their ages? Are they a boy? Are they a girl? And Isabel is totally aware of what he's looking for. So she throws a joke out there that one of them is an underwear model who refuses to wear a shirt during the lessons. But Armando does not find that funny. Isabel tells him, don't worry, just tell me good luck. And he says, all right, good luck. Now, Victor and Felix then head off to school, where they pass by a table selling tickets for the school dance. And Felix really wants to go, but he wants to go with Lake. And Lake is still playing things slow. And it is bothering him. Although, he feels like there is progress with it because she told Mia. And that's when they get to within eye shot of Mia's locker. And Mia is talking to Pilar, and Victor is realizing how difficult this is truly going to be, to the point where he can't even move. But he musters up the courage to walk over there, and Pilar is borrowing shoes from Mia for the school dance, and she tells Victor, don't screw this up. Oh, little does she know. And Victor kind of already has screwed up, because while he was in New York City, he never responded to Mia's texts, not one of them. And he's been a pretty shitty boyfriend. But he asks her if she wants to hang out later that night, because it feels like he should tell her in privacy rather than in a crowded setting, and in her home would be the best place. And this is perfect because her dad and Veronica are going to Billy Joel later that night. So it's set. He's going to come over with the plans of telling her that he's gay. Now, while they were having that conversation, Felix went off and found Lake, and they're hooking up in a supply closet. But then Felix pulls back because he wants to go to the dance with Lake. And Lake lies to him saying, yeah, dances really aren't my thing. But dances are totally her thing. She's obsessed with dancing. And he calls her on her bullshit. But Lake says, couples that go to dances are scrutinized, and I don't know if we're ready to be under the Creekwood microscope. And Felix, who is pretty agitated, says, what, so we can only see each other in a supply closet? But Lake says, nah, why don't you come over after school today? My parents aren't going to be home, and we'll have plenty of time. But she does lay down the law that they're not advancing bases, they're simply having privacy. After school, Victor heads off to work where he finds Benji packing up. And Benji tells him that starting next week, he's going to be transferring to a different coffee shop. And Victor asks, is this because I kissed you? And Benji admits, yeah, kind of. Victor tells him, you don't have to switch stores. What happened on our trip was my fault. And it's not going to happen again. And Benji says, my relationship with Derek isn't perfect, but when you kissed me, it put me in a tough spot. I want to make it work with him. And it's worth mentioning that Benji never told Derek about the kiss. He just feels like the best solution is to transfer stores and stay away from each other in school. So Victor goes to the one person he feels like he can confide in, and that's Simon, messaging him that Benji won't even talk to him now. And Simon writes back to Victor pretty quickly, explaining his situation. And when he was a shitty friend, he wrote his friends a big apology on Creek Secrets. So, after his shift, Victor sits down and writes Benji a letter. Only he doesn't address him as Benji, he addresses him as B, which is weird because it's not like Benji's all that long of a name. So while things aren't going great for Victor and his relationship, things are going pretty good after school for Felix and his. He heads to Lake's home, goes in her bedroom, they start hooking up, but then all of a sudden her mom comes home early, so Felix has to hide under the bed. And her mom tells her that she picked out a bunch of new outfits for her at the mall because her body type isn't great, her fashion sense isn't great, and she just starts picking every little detail about Lake apart. And it's making Lake extremely uncomfortable. And Lake appeases her mom trying on the outfits, but you can tell it's super embarrassing because Lake knows who's under the bed and who's hearing all this. And it's one thing to get it in your house, but when your mom is picking your body apart with your boyfriend kind of listening, it sucks. Eventually, her mom leaves and Felix gets out under the bed and tells her that she's perfect, but she just wants him to go home because it was a really embarrassing situation. And Felix consents that, so he says, no, I want to show you something. Come with me. And they head over to Felix's apartment. And right before they go in, he tells her, I've never shown anyone this, not even Victor. And that's because when he opens the door, he lives with a hoarder. He tells her it never used to be like this, but as time went on, his mom's depression got worse, the collection started growing. And Lake is kind of confused as to why he's showing her this. But the whole point is, this might be where he lives, but it's not a reflection of who he is. And the way that Lake's mom sees her is not a reflection of who she truly is. He tells her, you're smart, you're funny, you're beautiful. And I know what beauty looks like because there's 10 Cosmopolitan magazines over there in that corner. And it was just the kind of pep talk that Lake needed. Lake calls an Uber and Felix walks her out, and Felix makes one more plea for her to come to the dance with him. And she says, no, I can't, I'm sorry, but I crumble under the scrutiny of others, and I'm just not ready for that. And Felix says, I understand, but whatever this is, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, but this is over. And it completely takes Lake off guard, who just gets in the Uber and goes home. Now, while Felix is breaking up with Lake, Victor is over at Mia's house having sushi with her, trying to find a good time to tell her, hey, by the way, I'm gay. The issue is, her dad and Veronica came home early from the Billy Joel show. And her dad is thrilled to meet Victor for the first time, and Mia offers them both sushi, and Veronica says, no, I'm good, I don't like sushi, which is a total lie. She loves sushi. And that's when Mia notices that Veronica is drinking water and holding her stomach. And she asks her, are you pregnant? And her dad has this kind of awkward chuckle. And Veronica looks at her dad like, we can't really lie about this anymore. And they weren't planning on telling Mia just now, but she figured it out. Victor says, yeah, maybe I should go, but Mia insists that he stay. Mia asks her dad, did you guys plan this? And he says, no, it was an accident, but it was a happy accident. And then he reveals to Mia that the two are getting married. I mean, this jerk totally steals Victor's moment. And this is a lot for Mia to process, so she gets up and goes to her room. Victor follows her in, and she apologizes, but she explains how now he's going to have a new wife and a new baby. And her dad was the only family that she had. And it just feels like to Mia that her dad is moving on, just like her mom did. But Victor tells her, he's not moving on from you. I know he kind of sucks at it, but that guy's crazy about you out there. He's not your mom. He's not moving on from you. You're his world. And Victor decides not to tell Mia that he's gay because it's just too much for one girl, and he heads home. And when he heads home, he finds his parents fighting. They're fighting because Armando came home and saw a guy leaving his apartment, and he thought that that guy was one of her students. So he comes in hot, pissed off, thinking that Isabel lied to him about her clients, when in reality, it was a parent dropping off a kid to get piano lessons. So Victor walks in, finding his two parents fighting about this situation, where they inadvertently reveal the thing that Armando did. After he found out about Roger and Isabel, he kicked the shit out of Roger and got fired, and that's what forced them to move to Atlanta. So Victor confronts him about it, saying, okay, Dad beat up his boss. And Isabel says, we didn't want to overwhelm you guys with all the details. Which Victor finds funny because they're overwhelming the entire family with their constant fighting. And he takes them to task, chastising them for constantly bringing their marital drama into the family, because it's affecting everybody. Really hitting home, telling them that they make this house feel like a shitty place to come home to, and they need to do better. Later that night, as Victor is showering, Pilar cracks the door and yells, hey, can I borrow $10 for ice cream? And when she goes to grab that $10, she finds the note to Benji, admitting that he kissed somebody. The issue is, it doesn't say Benji, remember, it says B. So Pilar, reading the note, being friends with Mia, is wondering who the hell this girl B is. Thank you for watching this recap. If you do not see the next one up in the corner right there on the end screen, don't worry, it'll be up shortly. Please consider following the channel. That'd be cool. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, there's a thumbs down button for a reason.